really didn't know how deep it was till we moved back to LA. Because we would go to Giants games all the time, and the Dodgers wouldn't even be involved, right? And she would be annoyed with them. And she always explained it as, because we're A's season ticket holders. And now I know, like, oh no, it was the Dodgers.
No, it's just deep. Yeah.
I mean, it was both.
Oh yeah, it goes
both,
deep.
But
I mean,
there was more of the Dodger thing than I realized.
I have, I've said this before when I don't now, but I used to live literally a 5-minute walk from Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium is my favorite stadium. That is a fun place to see a baseball game. However, I am going to go with my Giants hat, and I will root against the Dodgers at all times. And I do not care. And that's how it goes. Yeah, I'm not throwing drinks at people. Like, it's like we can all be adults. But it just, that's the way it goes.
I always wear a Cardinals hat when I go to the Dodgers games, no matter who they're playing.
It's still fun to see a baseball game, even if, your team doesn't win or even if your team isn't playing.
Totally. How do you feel about Tito? Dang it. How do you feel about Tito with the Reds?
Ooh. Wow, terrible.
I couldn't hear that one.
Test 1, 2. How do you feel about
the Cincinnati Reds have hired Terry Francona as their next manager? I believe is what Len is trying to get through the static.
God bless. This is really bad.
I haven't thought about the Reds all that much recently, so I will get back to you on that.
Let me switch something out real quick.
All right.
Do I have time?
You got 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Okay.
3 minutes.
You could reboot. That sometimes
I don't
happens.
think it has anything to do with rebooting.
Yeah, the cable. I think it's a cable.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it. Len. You can do it. You can do
I'm going to mute you if you don't mind, Len.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea. Magandang umaga, Raymond. Hey, Clinton. What's up, Gotham Heights? Serenity W. Zoe. Good to see the crowd hanging out. What's up, Ryan? Everybody's here. Nick with a C. Don't tell Nick with a C. I saw it. But which? C-Spawn giving us a super chat that says "Go Giants, go Sarah." Aw, thank you, C-Spawn.
Giants.
Go Giants. We'll get them next
Hello,
year.
CPOTS50. Larry in Atlanta. Everybody's piling in now. Larry's in the car, but he's not driving.
2 minute warning. 2 minutes.
Well, it is Friday, October 4th. I don't know why that's significant,
the 4th
but
of October.
It's spooky.
It's spooky season.
I've already had 2 maple cream cookies today.
Wow. That's a good day.
I talked to a bot yesterday about being a pumpkin.
I saw your... Oh, we should talk about that on GDI too. The pumpkin thing was hilarious.
It's a Discord.
I mean, it just... people always say, don't engage. And I'm like, but sometimes I just want to. Like, they started it. Let's see how weird it gets.
The supposed negative of engaging is that you confirm that you are a viable target, and you'll get more attempts after that.
I don't know.
How? Does this sound better?
That's the theory.
It might be worth it.
Oh yeah, there we go.
to me.
That's better, Len.
Much
Very good. Thank you. Great.
I mean, that was pretty funny, so it might be worth it. You're right.
1
It's
minute.
like, what else am I going to do? Just sit around watching Agatha All Along, which is very funny, by the way.
Sometimes you do it for the lulls.
Sometimes you do it. Yeah.
I won't say.
Too late.
I mean, you can quickly.
No. It's,
Hey, what do you
we
think
got
about
40
Tito
seconds.
Francona as the new coach of the?
Hey, who are you guys going to vote for president?
I'm going to vote for an American, Sarah.
Tito Francona. I'm going with Tito. Yeah.
How about all those world events?
All of them.
All of them. Religion?
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
Might be this mic.
It might be the mic.
No, is it the mic? Is the mic
It
going?
might be the mic.
Yeah,
Get on the mic.
Are you in a
Sorry.
humid area? It might be rust. Oh,
Yeah.
Have a good show, everybody.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet. Oh, man.
Good day, Internet. Everyone.
Len's mic is dying
it's
in
a
real
bad day
time.
on the
If
internet.
anyone
Len.
knows what, like Len feels like he's not having a good day. He's having some mic issues. We'll figure
Yeah.
it out.
We could be. Goodbye, dear Mike. do your best
Parting
on
is
the way
such
out.
sweet sorrow.
Sorry, this is going on. I'm sorry. So.
We are receiving you, Len.
When it's you, it's not funny. When it's
I know.
everybody else,
We're trying to lighten the
we're
mood.
We're
Yeah.
not trying to make fun.
Yeah, we're definitely not trying to make fun.
Just
Okay.
making light.
Let's make a show.
Okay.
Good
All right.
one.
There we go. In 3, 2. Daily Tech News Show is made possible by you listening right now. Jeffrey Zilks, thank you. Also, Alo, Tony Glass, and brand new patron Gordon. New patrons, you're the best. On this episode of DTNS, Molly Wood is here to tell us how big tech plans to responsibly power their big tech. Plus, Meta's latest text-to-video generator includes sound, and Matt Mullenweg pays 8% of his staff to leave. This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, October 4th, 2024 in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Spooky Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
From the creepy Bay Area, I'm Mollywood.
I am using a new mic. I'm Len Peralta from Cleveland.
It's working. It's working, Len. Your new mic is working.
And I'm the show's producer, and I don't have any sort of a flourish to describe where I'm at.
You don't have to be
It's
spooky.
spooky
It's
season.
fine.
I was going to say, you say that, but that was kind of a little bit of
Oh.
a flourish right there.
I know you were all so understanding about that. I was like, suck it up. It's spooky season. Figure it out.
Yeah,
Wow.
Len's mic may have died right before the show, but he has rallied. Good job,
Yes,
Len.
Rallied.
I've got
Good job,
some-
Len.
I got a handheld here, so we'll see how
Indeed.
that goes.
All right, let's see how it goes. We shall start with the hits that are quick.
The first point upgrade to Apple's operating systems usually fixes most of the quibbles and quirks that people have with the major release. So, it's worth noting that iOS 18.0.1, iPadOS 18.0.1, and macOS Sequoia 15.0.1 are all out, including rolling out a version of iPadOS 18 for M4 iPads that does not brick them, because nobody wants to have an iPad bricked. So if you were having some of those reported freezes or unresponsive touch screen issues, those should be fixed in this release. 9 to 5 Mac also seems to think that it has sources reliable enough to report that Apple will use its own 5G modems in the next iPhone SE, which is expected to be announced after the first of the year.
And Google says, you're going to make your own baseband? Well, we're going to secure ours. Google released details of updates to the firmware of the cellular baseband used in the Pixel 9. If you don't know what it is, the baseband manages your communication with the cellular network, so LTE, 5G, etc. And it can be subject to vulnerabilities like any other software. So if it's got an exploit, it could be connecting to a false cell tower or fooled into connecting to the wrong base station, accepting manipulated network packets, stuff like that. Google's mitigations include protections against buffer overflows, methods to detect and alert the system of attempts to manipulate the flow of packets, and other protections against misallocated memory. If you're into this sort of thing, Google has a whole post detailing the stack canaries and control flow integrity that it is implementing. If you're not interested in what those are, just know that the Pixel 9 takes more measures to protect the phone from an attack over a cellular network.
Google also appears to be experimenting with a verification system that puts blue check marks next to search results for businesses that it can guarantee are legitimate and not a copycat site, for example. The Verge noted links to Microsoft, Meta, Epic Games, Apple, Amazon, and HP. Not all accounts will see the check marks, The feature is still in testing, not being rolled out to all users at this time. Google does use its own data analysis, like site verification and merchant data, along with human reviews, to issue the verification. So if you see a check mark and hover over it, you'll get the message, Google signals suggest that this business is the business it says it is.
Maybe it's not, but we think it is. We got some more signs that we're getting near the NVIDIA 50 series GPUs as the 4090 has started to be in short supply. That's not all that surprising. We were expecting NVIDIA 50 series to come during CES, and usually the 90 series is the first they announce. WCCF Tech, though, reports that some Chinese board channel buzz claims the RTX 4080 Super is about to be in limited supply as well. And if that ends up being true, it would mean that NVIDIA might be announcing the 5090 and the 5080 series simultaneously. Like I said, an announcement is expected around CES in early January.
The browser company's Arc search app is now available in open beta for Android and listed in the Google Play Store. It includes a feature called Browse for Me that summarizes an answer to your search query based on web sources, archiving old tabs, blocking ads, and pop-ups by default. Previously, Arc was available on Mac, iOS, and Windows, so welcome Android users.
The ability to create a short video clip from a text prompt is the hot new thing to show what your generative model is capable of these days. OpenAI's got Sora, Google has Lumiere, and also Veo. There are several others, Cog Video, Runway, Pika Labs, bunch more. And now Meta has a new one called Movie Gen. It can create video clips up to 16 seconds long, which may not sound long to you, but that's actually kind of long for these sorts of things. It can add audio too. So it can create the audio to sync with the video to provide ambient sounds. If you got a beach scene, it could have ocean waves in the background. It can add background music too. You can also prompt from an existing still image. So they showed them like showing a person running and then they showed a person eating a pumpkin, actually. You can also edit existing video, and that's the one with the person running. So you could say, put them in a dinosaur suit or give them pom-poms, and it'll edit the video to add those things in. Apparently the videos take tens of minutes to generate, and none of us can use it because, like most of these things, they are making it available internally and to select partners, which usually means like some filmmakers and stuff like that. Molly, it does seem like this is the new way to try to impress people on your model chops.
I guess so, yeah. Or to just sort of inspire a wave of layoffs based on the terror of this coming, but not actually make it available to people. I mean, it's exactly what so many artists and filmmakers have been worried about.
It's what they struck for, is protections against that sort of technology being abused. Right now, it's only 16 seconds long, so not yet.
It is interesting, the idea of showing off the AI chops before there's really it's sort of, I guess the fundamental question is, okay, so you're showing off your AI chops for what purpose? Is it to scare the competition? Is it so that when you eventually figure out what people will pay for, you're the one they're thinking of? I don't know. It's just it's sort of an interesting race.
Feels like the second one is kind of a possibility, right?
I guess so.
It's the like, ooh, that's impressive. Because when OpenAI put out Sora, it wasn't the first to do text to video, but because they are constantly impressing people acted as if Sora was the better one. And maybe it was, right? But they were like capturing the mind share.
Arguably. I mean,
well, there were a couple other models there were a couple other models before Sora. They just didn't get a lot of attention, right? So that's what I think they put these out here, is try to get the buzz around your products, and then people are more likely to plop down to pay for ChatGPT because they think, well, eventually I'll be able to get Sora. At least I hope I will.
I mean, some of this feels like, okay, well, if it's 16 seconds long right now, okay, that's not a movie. I mean, probably not a short film you can do in 16 seconds, but as it gets better and it gets longer, great. How many of us are going to be consuming these AI generated short or even long form films when that can be done by anybody with the press of a button going forward? I think some will. it almost feels more to me like this is like emoji in a way. It's like a short video that you
I can make a
can't-
GIF.
Right. Yes. Where it helps you. Tell a joke or describe your reaction to someone else's joke or something that you can create that wouldn't be available to you otherwise.
I mean, I have definitely been in fun text conversations that include, people. We're now making illustrations, like when something is kind of funny, and I want to just go to ChatGPT and I like have it illustrate that thing, and then it is almost behaving like an emoji or more accurately a GIF in this case. But it's interesting when these demos come out because they immediately cause like a moral panic and a freak out about all the things that could go wrong. And then the company says, oh no, don't worry. We're totally making sure that there's, you won't be able to like turn this into a Taylor Swift porn video, which by the way, you totally will be able to do. And so it's, I wonder at what point these demos, although amazing, right? They show the level of, they show the speed of innovation. I mean, it is pretty insane that I think even a year ago, we never would have thought that you were going to be able to create video from text. And in fact, Sam Altman was at an event. I saw him speak in San Francisco and he was like, we're going to really slow our roll on that because it could go horribly wrong. I'm like, of course they're not. But I wonder at what point these demos will start to have diminishing returns because there will be so much freak out about the capability that people will be like, maybe just cool it. Just like, don't.
Well,
I don't know.
Molly, Meta says it wants to, and I'll quote, sort out a bunch of really important problems around safety and responsibility.
They're just going to sort that out.
Yeah.
So
They're on
they're
it.
going to sort it out.
They've done a great job with, teenage girl mental health and political misinformation and targeted harassment and housing violations and misstating their metrics so much that the entire news industry pivots to video and then loses their shirts. I think they've done a great job sorting stuff out. They're good at sorting.
Well, I have a feeling that these models will get better and better, and whether it's Meta or somebody else, you will see the fascination with their ability, just like we did when ChatGPT first arrived, kind of overtake the public imagination, which is why I think a lot of people who are covered by SAG-AFTRA and the other unions that are trying to put protections in are glad that they got ahead of that. Sort of stuff. Because all this can do is make, a GIF of me running in a dinosaur suit right now. But
so far, yeah.
The pace that these go, it might even be 5 years before you can just generate a 60-minute video. But it seems like that would be believable that that's going to happen.
It's coming. Like, I appreciate that they're letting us know it's coming, and it's coming faster than we expected. And at least we can try to sort stuff out because we know Meta's not going to.
Yeah. Facebook announced some tweaks to its design meant to appeal to younger users. We might talk about this a little more on GDI too, but if you're looking and you're curious, the star of the show is the new Explore tab that'll be in the middle tab at the bottom nav and collect content relevant to your interests. It's an algorithm. Yay! That's what everybody's been demanding, right? Also, the video section will soon let you watch full screen videos. There's a local tab to pull in marketplace groups and events.
I'm a marketplace
section. I was going to say
fan.
that one might actually be
Through
useful.
and through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for those changes.
All right, so Automatic. We have talked about Automatic and its kerfuffle with WP Engine for the better part of 2 weeks now. Automatic announced Thursday that some of its employees disagreed with the handling of the WP Engine dispute and were offered a severance package to walk away from the company of $30,000 or 6 months' salary if that ended up being higher to leave the company. So 8.4% of its staff, that is 159 people, took the offer. That's a small part of the company, but it's a significant amount of people. 80% of those were in the ecosystem WordPress division. Among the departures were the head of WordPress.com, Automatic's hosting business, obviously, the head of programs and contributor experience, and Automatic's principal architect for AI. So yes, various folks may have just said, this just makes financial sense for me. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to go to another company. Maybe I was looking for another job
Yeah,
anyway.
that's what I was
But
thinking
some of these, are executive roles, and the idea that Automatic and WP Engine have been going at it for a while now has led some people to feel like the leadership at Automatic is not the leadership that they want.
Yeah, if you want the details on that dispute, see previous episodes of DTNS. We really don't want to go through it all
We've really
again.
gone through it, yeah.
But they've been mean to each other in public, like saying not nice things, not just veiled things, like calling each other names. And I could see where some people would say, you know what, I don't even care if you're right. I don't like the way this is done. I'll be honest. I'm a big fan of Automatic. I think what they've done with Tumblr and Pocket Casts and WordPress is great. I've always sort of admired Mullenweg, although I don't really know him. Molly and I worked with him for like a hot minute at CNET when they acquired his company a while back, but he wasn't there for very long, so I didn't really get to know him. But this has made me not feel as positive about him, even though I think he has a case. Like I feel like I might sympathize with him more than WP Engine. I don't like the way he has been going about it.
Yeah. I wish I had more to add other than being ugly in public and putting your employees in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Is never a good look.
I have a few very good friends and former colleagues that work at Automatic in various capacities right now. I don't know that this is striking them personally at any point. But Mullenweg said in a post, which he posted to detail that he had allowed some employees to go, and here was their severance package and whatever, said those that decided to leave would lose access to Automatic the same day. They've got their own, it's called P2. It's like their own CMS, really. And so, you're out of there. And then wouldn't be eligible to boomerang, which is the way that they describe rehiring. So if you were to leave and say, you know what, I miss it here, they say, nope, at least today.
So the $30,000 is sort of an attempt to just like weed out the less loyal, or the people who
I guess.
it seems like the way this is positioned is that if you take this package, which, by the way, it would be reasonable to do in a situation like this where there's a lot of upset and uncertainty and you don't know how look, lawsuits sometimes put companies out of business, right? Like, who knows how long this could go on and what kind of resource strain it would be. This blog post and this sort of like you will lose access immediately and you won't be eligible to be rehired almost makes it feel like taking the money to leave is a loyalty test. Yeah. And I think that's the part that feels bad. Like, if you're just saying, look, this could go on for a long time, we don't know what our resources are going to look like, here's a great, buyout package. That's one thing.
Yeah. Or if
Don't go away
if you
mad.
work here and you're feeling weird about it, like, we've got our hands full, so just go.
Yeah.
Right. But instead it's like, go, but know that
never
don't
come
let the door
back.
hit you. Never come back.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird, that is what strikes me as so odd about this. Leaving aside everything else, it's basically like, if you take this buyout, you're a dirty, dirty rat. Like, what?
It's similar to my feelings about this are similar to my feelings about the whole situation, which is like, I kind of understand and think this might even be the right thing to do, but I don't like the way it's being done.
Yeah.
Similar to, like the whole situation with WP Engine, where WordPress has shut off automatic updates for them because they don't feel they're contributing enough, is not necessarily unreasonable, but it also has really bad effects in that, like, sure, they can go get those patches themselves, but that takes a lot of work to build up the ability to do if you don't know it's coming. So again, maybe not the wrong thing to do, but maybe this is not the right way to do it. It seems to be the running theme with this entire situation.
Ugly. Messy.
And I like WordPress. We're a customer. We run dailytechnewsshow.com on WordPress.com.
We do. Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you live long enough, all your good guys become bad guys. I think that's the takeaway.
But do the bad guys become good guys?
No, everybody just apparently reverts to the mean, and the mean is bad guy.
It's
Okay.
entropy.
Is there ever a bad guy who finally became the good guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't
mean,
think
there.
of an example of that.
I suppose they're like middling guys. Like there's like sort of the Mark Cuban move, where people are just like, oh, now he's like this,
Sure.
really respected voice on DEI and whatever in politics and blah blah blah. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I don't
the
have
chat
any.
saying Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney, but that's a little loaded.
All I'll say is it puts me in mind of the comics Irredeemable and Uncorruptible. If you haven't read them, one is about a good superhero who goes bad, and the other is about a bad superhero who goes good. So maybe only in the comics, but that's the one example I can think of. If you have thought about that example and you're like, oh my gosh, I must tell you, how do I get in touch with you, Tom? Email us, feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. So Molly recently got back from New York Climate Week, where there was a lot of discussion about a lot of things, of course, but particularly about big tech companies racing for energy to power their data centers. I think a lot of people have concerns about the amount of energy used in data centers. It's usually related to AI, but frankly, the amount of energy just used in a regular old data center without AI is huge. Molly, what were they talking about and what did you find out?
Yeah, so there's been this data center conversation for years, and companies, especially the big tech giants who are multinational and who increasingly have, their own sustainability goals or regulatory requirements around clean energy use, have been doing a pretty good job of procuring and incentivizing renewable energy to power these data centers. The AI layer has created a completely different vibe. And it was I think that for the couple of months leading up to New York Climate Week, people thought like maybe it's not going to be that busy, or it's just going to be a little bit muted, mostly because nobody knows what the US election is going to bring. And the kind of climate outcome of the election specifically is significant. So in some ways, people thought this would be a climate week where people are on pause. But in fact, it was not. It was a climate week where it was like overrun. It was almost like you just had like big tech swarm climate week in search of power, because there is this sort of desperate race for energy to power these future data centers, specifically because of AI. Like there had already been predictions that data center power consumption, which is estimated to be between 1% and 4% of global electricity usage, sort of depending on who you read. People settle right around 2.5% or 3%, will hit 9% even before the sort of model training, extreme increase in energy use as a result of LLMs. But so what you have seen is, this has been coming for a while, and you can really you can look at Sam Altman's history of investing in various energy projects over the last 2 years. Like it's, Microsoft the big news, of course, that you talked about on the show is that Microsoft is entering into an agreement that, pending regulatory approval, would reopen 3 Mile Island with Microsoft as its sole customer, which is bananas. Like they're like, we're going to reopen a nuclear plant because that's how much we need power.
It would reopen a new unit. There's currently a unit active, but it would reopen another unit. Yeah.
And as of July, I think the Wall Street Journal reported that 1/3 of nuclear power plants were in some kind of conversation with a big tech company. Sam Altman has been investing in fusion, fission, and renewables to try to secure reliable power supply. And so it's just this fascinating conversation about how these companies will end up getting this power. Now, you remember like when everybody was talking about how much energy cryptocurrency used and Bitcoin mining used, the response would always be, well, it's fine because it'll incentivize more renewable energy. And a little bit of that happened, but what mostly happened is that like a shuttered coal plant in Montana reopened, one in upstate New York reopened, one in, a couple in Wyoming. Like they were just like, wherever we can get cheap power, we're going to do it, because we can't wait for the permitting and the interconnection and the building of the renewable energy. And so now there's I think people at Climate Week were like, it's great that you're here and what you're talking about is trying to procure clean energy and even bringing more nuclear online is controversial, but it is carbon-free power, full stop.
Right.
And that's been something that a lot of advocates have been pushing for, is bringing back nuclear and not closing plants and, creating new nuclear fission innovations. and it's just this question of like, they're gonna need the power. Even if this all turns out to be a bust, like they're going to overbuild as though they need all the power.
Yeah, because their projections say they're going to need it. They're going to go try to get it before they need it. Yeah,
they're going to put out demos so that you want to buy their stuff, and then they're going to need the power to like make it all happen. But yeah, it's just and then the question is like, will they do it cleanly or will they just start buying coal?
Well, if they were showing up at Climate Week, you'd be tempted to assume that that's what they want. And we've seen Amazon buy a nuclear powered data center. We saw Google CEO Sundar Pichai tell Nikkei that they're considering sourcing power from nuclear plants. Microsoft with 3 Mile Island. What do you sense from actually being there? Are those lovely press releases, or is it that they really are trying to avoid carbon emitting power sources?
I think they are genuinely trying to avoid carbon emitting power sources for a couple of reasons, but most of those reasons are rules. the European, if you're a multinational and you're operating in Europe, you are required to have sustainability goals and net zero goals and procure renewable energy. That's just going to be like the rule. And so, and a lot of these companies have high profile sustainability goals that are based on, that their investor pressure and customer pressure and all those reasons are real.
Yeah.
However, economics is economics. And at the end of the day, if they're like, we can quintuple in size by going all in on AI, and the way that we get there is coal power from China, they're going to do it. And so
it only takes one of them to be like, we're behind. We can't afford to catch up unless we do that. And then once one of them does that, then the others get to have cover to do it. Right.
Yeah. I think it's a looming moral hazard. And it's going to be really interesting to see if the US responds in a regulatory way to clear more roadblocks to renewable energy, which everybody's already been asking for. But bringing nuclear back online as baseload power is kind of like an accident. And, again, I recognize that it's controversial. I personally am of the opinion that we need nuclear in the mix because we can't deploy renewable fast enough, and it's intermittent. That all by itself is a thing that like Bitcoin promised for a really long time, and all of a sudden AI has done. And that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the difference, right? You saw a lot of people say Bitcoin was going to need a lot of stuff. There was less need than it looked like. And they ended up just attaching to existing stuff because they didn't have the ability to go to Constellation Energy and say, we would like to write you a check for all the power if you reopen Unit 1. Yeah.
I mean, it's just just keep an eye on this space. I have a newsletter that will be coming out about this so by the time you hear this show, it should be available at mollywood.co. But watch this space, because the energy generation question and conversation just got way, way, way more interesting. This is the biggest thing happening in energy right now.
And if you are the kind of person who believes in being part of a group that applies public pressure for things, there's going to be a lot of that around this. You can bet your bottom dollar.
Your sweet.
Why the bottom dollar?
Bet
all
your
any dollar. Yeah, some people are betting a lot of dollars on this.
So many
all
dollars.
Right. Probably too many dollars. Let's check out the mailbag.
This one comes from Jeff in Knoxville, Tennessee, who writes in about CNN's latest paid tier. Jeff says, when you listed the cost, my gut reaction was, this is more than my perceived value for the service. That's not to say it's overpriced in general, though. It left me wondering how to make a fair value determination. Should I compare it to a streaming service and how many hours I read versus watch? Maybe it's how much I read from them versus the cost of spending time reading books. None of these feel right, but what's the right comparison? They're certainly basing the cost on their cost to produce and host the content, and perhaps what they do or wish to make via ads. Since I don't know their cost or ad revenue, I can't base my decision on that. I want people paid for their work, but I don't want my view of current events to be limited by how many services I can afford to pay for.
Well, first of all, as I always do, they're probably not basing this on the cost of producing this, except to say they don't want it to lose money. They're basing it on what they think they can get people to pay for it, and that's what any business is going to do. Molly, do you have any advice for Jeff on how to decide if CNN is worth $3.99 a month?
I mean, I like that Jeff wants to quantify it, when I would argue that really it's just do you want it and care about it and value it? I mean, I am now paying $15 a month to be in a book group with like-minded romantasy readers, but I don't want to pay $4 a month for CNN because I already pay for all, so
Yeah, right.
it's just your personal value thing. But I really want to note the biggest thing he said, which is that everybody had, and this has been happening for over a decade now, that every service comes out and it's like, it's just $5.99. It's just $99.99. But there are hundreds of them. And the closest roll up we have is something like Apple News, which I'm happy to pay for at this point because I get a bunch of premium news subscriptions in it. But the idea that we're going to continue to pay for all of these things individually and have to make a service by service value determination like this, we already know there's tons of fatigue. I mean, I think you just decide if you want to pay for this because you love CNN and you love like specific anchors.
Well,
but otherwise,
I really like Jeff's approach to the question, which is if I pay for CNN, like you said, it limits what I can pay for other things. And I don't like having my view of current events limited by how many services I can afford.
Yeah. And this is tough. I know that we need a business model for journalism. I am very concerned and have been concerned for a long time about a world where quality information is only available if you can afford to pay. And people who cannot afford to pay get misinformation and lies.
I just this is not me arguing against anything that anyone has said, Jeff, Molly, Sarah, or otherwise, but do remember that we used to get the highest quality news from a paid source, the newspaper, which was subsidized by advertising, and that radio and television news were the free ones that everyone didn't think were as valuable. The problem now is actually we have too many sources, right? Back then, you paid for the newspaper because it was the newspaper. And now you can pay for literally limitless number of newspapers. There is no limit to what you can buy, and so it makes the decision harder. And I think that's what Jeff's running into here.
And that actually, on that note, I had a conversation just recently with a friend who was saying, what am I supposed to do about the news media business model? I pay for the New York Times and I pay for the Atlantic and I pay for the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post and And I said, hold up, do you pay for any local news? And my personal opinion is that when you are making your value calculation, you should pay for local news. That is where corruption gets caught early. That's where we find out quickly how bad things are in Appalachia because national news media cannot get there, but a functioning and robust local news ecosystem would be on the ground. Even regional news, as somebody just said in the comments, like we tend to bias when we do this math toward national news sources. In fact, you need one national news source, and then you should support your local and regional ecosystem because, frankly, that's where the real work that matters to you day to day is being done.
Thanks
for coming to my TED Talk.
The problem is you're asking people to care about their local issues. That's the problem.
But they do. They're on Nextdoor talking about it all the time. Like that's the stuff you talk to your friends about. We've stopped realizing how much we care about it. We're like, where are the cops? Why are there so many potholes? This tree fell down. How come my community is not more resilient to climate change? It's because Lee newspapers bought all of your local papers and you don't have a reporter in town talking about the tree falling.
You might not even have local news to support because of that.
Yeah.
Well, on that fun note, let's cheer things up and turn to Len Peralta, who has been illustrating today's show. Len, what have you drawn for us today?
Oh, what a great conversation that is. That's pretty amazing. Fusion energy is pretty intense, I got to say. I am really amazed by fusion energy. And this is the power of the sun running these data centers. And this is Doc Ock.
Gosh, I didn't realize the sun wore such a cool jacket.
I know.
The sun is pretty amazing, really, actually. This is Doc Ock running, it's a little Spider-Man reference to the power of the sun. Anyway, if you're interested in Doc Ock, Spider-Man, and all that great stuff, you can get this at my Patreon, patreon.com/Len. Back me at the DTNS level. You'll get it immediately, or go to my online store, purchase it for yourself, or commission me. You never know. You might be able to get something fresh for somebody, right? So
Fantastic.
Plus, I need
Thank
to
you
buy
so
a new
much, Len.
mic. So
Yeah, please help Len.
out.
This is a last-minute mic he's talking into.
yeah,
You
exactly.
need your
Easy.
commissions now.
An
sorry
easy
about
value calculation to make there.
Good stuff, Len. Good hustle.
Very
Live
good, very
shows, you know, you never know what you're gonna get. And Len pulled it off. Molly Wood, you pull it off every time you're with us. Let folks know where they can keep up with what you do.
Man, you're the best. Everybodyinthepool.com is the home of the the home of the podcast, where you could see the exact same tile art over and over and over. I don't know, whatever. I'm working on that. And mollywood.co is where you can subscribe to the newsletter, where you will get a weekly update when a new episode launches, and things like analysis of the big trends at New York Climate Week and the tech that's happening there.
Fantastic. Go check it out, folks. Also, this week's top 5 is out. Smartphones from before the iPhone. Yeah, there were smartphones before the iPhone, kids. Ask your parents or watch this top 5 at Daily Tech News Show on TikTok, DTNS Pix, PIX on Instagram, and youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show. If you're a patron, don't go anywhere. Stick around. We have the extended show, Good Day Internet, just about to start. It's time for a Friday quiz. Which city is already energy self-sufficient? Where was the first wind energy generated? And the surprising country that is not Iceland that produces the most geothermal energy. Find out and play along.
You can catch our show live. We do it live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. That is 2000 UTC, and you can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. We're back doing it all again on Monday with Nica Montford joining us, and we hope you all have a great weekend.
This week's episodes of Daily Tech News Show were created by the following people. Host, producer, and writer Tom Merritt. Host, producer, and writer Sarah Lane. Executive producer and booker Roger Chang. Producer, writer, and co-host Rob Dunwood. Video producer Joe Kuntz. Producer at large Anthony Lemos. Spanish language host, writer, and producer Dan Campos. Science correspondent Dr. Nikki Ackermans. Social media producer and moderator Zoe Detterding. Our mods, Beatmaster W. Scottus1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Gaudarama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, aka Gadget Virtuoso, and J.D. Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music and art provided by Martin Bell, Dan Luters, Mustafa A., Acast, and Len Peralta. Live art performed by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias, and Patreon support from Tom McNeil. Our contributors for this week's shows include Ayaz Akhtar, Chris Christensen, Scott Johnson, Justin Robert Young, and Molly Wood. And thanks to all our patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yay!
So I've got a Shure XLR in my cart right now, and I'm just going to purchase it.
Oh, Len, someone commissioned Len.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. That
Good
mic.
scramble though.
Yeah, I just had an AKG mic, like a handheld, just right here, so I just threw it on.
Yeah, that worked. It's working.
I got to get. This mic is like 15 years old, so I got to get something new.
It served you well.
It did serve me well. Lots of good interviews on there.
Yeah, well done. Well, rest now, little Mike.
Rest, little pardoid Mike. It's all right.
You done good.
He did. He did do well.
He did. If you would like to do some good, maybe pick a title. Showbot.tv/DTNS2. I mean,
If you can even be bothered.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. We actually have 49 title submissions with 81 votes already, 83 votes. The votes keep coming in, folks. Join them. Showbot.tv/DTNS2. We need DTNS and GDI titles. Sarah,
Yes, Tom?
are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
And
Roger.
Listo.
Muy bien. Roher has made a wonderful quiz for us today. Roger, tell us what the quiz is about.
This quiz is about your knowledge of renewable power generation.
So you'll feel
where I'm
relieved.
exposed as a fraud.
Listen,
On a scale of 1 to 100, how difficult is
This
this
is
quiz?
this is how
Roger?
we all
I
learn
would-
things.
I mean,
all learn
this feels.
together.
It
The
doesn't
answer
feel
is
that
the
hard.
answer should be impossible. It's impossible. No one can get any of these answers right. That way, when anyone gets one right, then
The only
it's all
thing, it's impossibly fun,
Like
Tom.
Scotty.
I think you're selling
It's
it.
true. It's true.
It's a different
Possibly.
way.
Impossibly fun. That's a good name for a game show.
You know who the real winner is? All of us, because we learned something.
Exactly.
Education is key.
All right, all right. I want to learn something. Come on.
All right.
Fine.
1975. Do you remember 1975, everyone?
No, I was
busy
not
being
alive.
born.
I do. I remember.
Len and I do.
Not making
Yeah.
me feel old.
Born.
Len and I are the only ones. In 1975, the U.S. Department of Energy turned to this independent U.S. federal agency to design wind turbines for power generation. Little 5-year-old Tom Merritt was applauding as this independent U.S. federal
So
agency.
it wasn't the DOE. It was an independent federal agency.
Yeah. Yep. Independent U.S. federal agency.
Independent.
An example
Yeah.
might be the post office, but that is not who they turn to. I'm just,
Although that would
Not
be kind of
turning to
cool.
that.
yeah.
The Department of Water and Power.
That's a local department. I don't think there's a federal one, is there?
I know.
I'm going to say
I knew that was wrong.
agriculture. Department of Agriculture.
Department of Agriculture. Len, do you have a you want to throw one in here?
I'm
Even
going to
though I
say
want it to be-
Department of Homeland Security, even though it
Department of
existed.
Homeland Security
not-
did
did not
Didn't
exist.
exist.
Did
Didn't
not
exist.
exist at
Yeah, I
that
was going to
time.
say
Yeah.
DOD,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's independent. Ooh. But you know who's related to DARPA?
It is not DARPA
All
either.
right, then I'm going back to ag. It's not ag.
Sarah, do you have another thought?
Because clearly, Department of Water and Power is not the answer. I don't know. Department of Education.
What if I gave you the hint that this federal agency doesn't have the word department in its name?
Not helpful. Yeah.
That just
You
eliminated
asked.
everything you could think of, didn't it?
Well, it's
Yeah.
the USDA. No, yes.
It's not the. That's it. There. That's
Oh, it
an
has
example.
department in it. Yeah, no, I got it.
Right.
Okay.
FDA.
FAA. Because
FCC.
airplanes would make perfect sense.
You're
actually,
getting
turbines.
closer. You're actually getting closer, Molly.
Well, I was trying to think of who makes nukes, but I think it's DOE. Like I was thinking of
Yeah.
who makes submarines.
But who else is involved in things in the air and sometimes beyond the air?
Oh,
Oh, NASA.
Oh,
NASA.
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 Hooray for NASA.
interesting.
Wow.
Independent U.S. federal agency. That was tough.
We learned two
okay,
things here.
Roger. That
Yeah,
was
right.
Independent federal agency is an agency that I think doesn't have its head picked. Like that basically can be
It's not
fired
a,
by the
have
it's
its
president.
head
not a
on
presidential
straight.
appointee. Yeah,
Exactly. The
Yeah.
president
Yeah.
doesn't appoint the head, and they can't dismiss them.
right.
I feel like it added complexity to that question. Like it could have just said federal agency. Instead,
Yeah.
we were like, well,
I mean, would have changed any of your answers coming up?
You made
yes,
our
I would have
answers
been
harder,
NASA
Roger.
immediately. No.
All right. Question number 2. What is the world's largest hydroelectric dam? And bonus points if you can name the river. that
Three
it's on.
Gorges.
Three Gorges is correct.
Oh, wow.
And is it the Yangtze?
It is, in fact, the Yangtze.
Wow.
Phew.
Molly.
Yeah.
This is unfair.
I just did.
Molly was
say
like,
the
I'm not going to be
hydroelectric
good
power
at this
generation.
game.
I know. She
I mean, I
started
got
the
one.
game. You started the game with a hum, I'm not good at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You think I'm not going to sandbag myself? Like, come on. This is the Scotty.
I mean, back when
approach.
Len and I
Good.
were
It's
young, it was
good.
only 2
It's-
Gorges.
This is,
I know.
strategy. Strategy is important. I would not have known this. So, yeah, learn something.
I mean, I
the
don't
3
pretend to know.
Yangtze River.
Gorges. The Yangtze.
And it's a quick side note, it also serves a dual purpose because it's also a flood control measure. So the Yangtze River has traditionally, and its tributaries have traditionally been subject to regular flooding. And so
Yeah.
the whole idea is like, hey, we're going to build this dam, we're going to have power, but we can also have flood control. Also, we won't bolt it to the ground. So it's
Also
it's
will drive
literally-
out all the people who live behind it.
So many.
and so many thousands of years of artifacts and other history are sitting at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yangtze River is one of the cradles of civilization, right? Along with the
along with the
Nile
Tigris and the
and
Euphrates.
Tigris.
Nile,
Yeah.
I mean, to be clear, like I don't know any other rivers in China. That was always going to be my guess. Like once you're in China, there's only one river I'm ever going to guess. It's not like
But we didn't
that.
say China. We just
Oh,
said
but
the
I knew
largest.
Three Gorges.
But
so
you knew
then
Three
China,
Gorges,
yes.
so trying to guess
So once
the
I
river.
know
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
then
yeah.
it's just only the one river I've ever heard of.
What other river is there? It's like the Mississippi in the
The
US.
Pearl
There's other
River?
rivers? I don't know. Nobody cares. Question number 3. Which state in the United States produces the most renewable energy measured by megawatts?
Oh.
I'm going to say
Which
Nevada.
state? You
That
got
pretty
1
much-
out of 50 chance of getting it right.
I said
I feel like that
Nevada.
has to be California. Oh, Nevada could be.
Nevada, California, Sarah?
Well, I mean, what's your answer, Molly? Nevada or
California.
California?
I'm going with California.
Len said Nevada.
I'm going with something else, like Virginia.
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 None of you are right.
Ah,
Second round. Now you've got a 1 out of 47 chance of getting it.
Texas.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Oh,
Molly
sorry.
and Sarah saying Texas.
Yeah, we can each
Len?
have- We can share
Florida.
Texas.
Florida.
Florida. We have 2 Texases and a Florida. 2 Texi and a Florida.
Florida is not it, though. But
The answer is Texas.
Yay!
Wow.
Followed by California. Wow.
we
look at
learned
that, though, like
something.
half.
We learned something.
I guess they
Nevada's
do have a
not even
Definitely not going to be Florida.
on that
Nevada's
list.
not high up there.
Yeah.
No,
Florida
wow.
right in the middle.
I kind of thought, I don't know,
The one state
the rural
Iowa.
aspect of it. I thought
is Vermont is the one state in the union that produce of the electricity it generates in state, almost 100% is generated by renewables. But I mean,
Vermont
it's a
is. Oh, wow.
Yes, Vermont.
But it's
But,
not
I
a big
mean,
state,
it's-
so it's not the most renewable.
Exactly.
Right.
And also, I'm sure it gets additional power from the outside.
Sure. Yeah, because it's part of the major grid, whereas Texas is its own grid, so it has to produce more of its own. So it produces more energy, I'm guessing, than a lot of states that just take it in from other
Just the size
other
of it.
places. Yeah.
Also, it's huge and
It's
has
like a
lot
whole
of
other
wind, You know, I mean,
country.
it's so big,
is.
right? Exactly. Like just in terms of buildable
It's like the
land.
size of Australia.
Yeah.
It's Texas.
If Australia was the size of Texas, so much smaller, yes, it would. But
it's no Alaska, we know.
Yeah.
Amos, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
feel
It's
you saying.
2.5 Texas for an Alaska, right, to fit? Or
Is that
something
right?
Like that?
Something like that.
I think so.
All right. Question number 4. In what country is the oldest operational wind turbine located? Power generating wind turbine.
what country?
What country has the oldest operational wind turbine?
I'll say Sweden.
I'll say
Sweden.
Denmark.
We have one for Denmark. Sweden and Denmark. Molly.
I'll say China.
Sweden, Denmark, and China for the oldest operational wind turbine. And Len is correct. It is
Hey, I know it's a total guess.
Denmark. Denmark.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Those Copenhagen people.
Oh, you Danes.
Yeah.
So good at
good.
stuff.
Dan, you.
You know, Michelin stars and wind turbines. Come on.
You.
And high happiness
Wait,
indexes.
the whole country gets a Michelin star? Like that's
And
there's-
dark.
They have a lot
Right.
of Michelin
Gotta
star
go.
restaurants.
Yeah.
In,
Pretty much.
Yeah, there,
You
yeah,
gotta go.
it's,
That's
it's a
interesting.
place to have fancy food for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good job,
fine.
Dan.
Good one.
Danland.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good job, Len.
Awesome.
Yeah, and good job, Denmark.
Feels like it cheats me if I'm being honest, but I'll give it to you. Just
Because I was thinking Holland, right? The Netherlands, because of all the windmills. I was
right.
like,
That's
they
a good
must
one,
be
actually.
the one. No.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
that was too obvious. So
Right.
I was like, okay,
So you go,
something
yeah.
in Scandinavia. that
Right, and you were
isn't-
right.
yeah.
It was definitely in
I mean,
Scandinavia.
I'm impressed.
And remember,
Scandinavians
it's
did not
it's
occur to
the
me at all.
oldest operating. Like there were older ones, but they don't.
But they're not in operation.
They're
Yeah.
not an operation. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
So when you think geothermal, a lot of people think Iceland because it's got all the hot springs and the vents and the volcanoes and the Bjork's a power source of her own. But what country produces the most energy from geothermal sources? It's not Iceland.
USA. USA.
Oh,
USA.
Molly with the American exceptionalism thinks it's the United States. Okay. Yeah. USA.
That would be my my pick as well. But
But
if I should pick something else.
You don't have to
then
pick something else. You can join the July 4th bandwagon or not. It's up to you.
I would pick Finland.
Finland.
I'm going to say
it's because
Japan.
of the saunas, huh?
Because of the Moomins.
I'm going to say Japan.
Japan.
Ooh,
Japan with
that's
the
a good one.
geothermal. Yeah, they got some volcanoes there too.
Lots of volcanoes.
All of these are likely locations, but the answer is in fact USA. USA.
Ooh,
USA.
nice. Very
This is
good.
not fair because I literally did a podcast about getting lithium from brine as a result of geothermal energy production
that
and
sounds
went
like a
to visit
cheat.
the Salton
Yeah, that's a
Sea.
cheat.
And then they were
Yeah.
like, turns out the U.S. produces the most geothermal. And I was like, what? That's crazy. But we do.
Indonesia and the Philippines, right up next to them though. Look at that.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know if
Salamat
any of you
po.
have ever been to the Salton Sea. I have not,
Oh,
but
I've
it's
been
a
to-
fascinating thing.
I'm
I really
obsessed.
want to go and just see what's going on there.
Dude, you gotta go. It's the cool. Like I went there 2 times for reporting trips, and then I literally made my son and boyfriend go there for spring break. Like I was like, this place.
Like,
is so
did you get
awesome.
into the water? Can you float on it like the Dead Sea?
No, unless you want to. They like fish dead dogs out of there and stuff. Like, it's not
Yeah,
right.
but isn't that
Oh.
just because? Oh,
Molly's like, best
That's-
vacay ever,
that's
but do
just
not go in the
because-
water.
so wait a
not
minute.
in the water.
So view it from a distance.
So the Salton Sea is a super fascinating. It's in the Imperial Valley in Southern California, and the sea itself used to be like a vacation spot. Like all the Hollywooders would go and vacation there, but it started to get all of this agricultural runoff. It got heavily polluted. People were getting really, really sick, and so then they were just like, oh. And so the entire kind of what's cool about it is that it's like a desert with this sea that is receding in visible geologic time. Like it will recede like 2 to 3 feet a year. Like, and then the whole region around it is super geothermally unstable. Like there's a moving geyser that they've had to move a highway twice to avoid. The sea is just shrinking into this like toxic stew of salt and
But-
agricultural runoff.
geyser
and
But
all
is
the
a thing
birds
for
are
that
dying
highway.
it's
and-
going into the earth, and that's where the heavy metals comes out of, or the.
The brine's already there.
The brine's-
No,
oh,
the sea
okay.
is actually unrelated to the brine. Like the Earth's
Got it,
crust
got
is
it.
filled with, hot, superheated brine, and lithium is actually
for
just
anybody
We're a
listening
big
to
old
this being
trout
like,
pond.
well, that doesn't sound fun. Do you have just like crazy plants growing? Like what
What's
drew
cool
you
about
to
it
back?
It's like an apocalyptic wasteland, but people have turned it into like a strange art community, and so there's
Yeah.
there's
That's what I
there's a
heard about
city-
it too.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like
There's-
Burning
there's-
Man, but like in this dystopian.
No,
future.
like
But
people
with
just
nobody else
living
there.
there.
And yeah, and people, there's a
I mean-
whole series of art installations on the beach. There's this weird town. I'm trying to think of the name of the city, but they call it the last free city. And it's just people who like have gone and settled there. and are, trying
Is
to
that
survive.
Monument Monolith or something? It's like where
Something
like
like
a
that.
bunch of just people kind of just squat.
Yeah, because it's federal land. And so they
Now,
just
if
squat
if
there.
I remember, that
It's
whole sea was
fascinating.
accidental. Like it wasn't there originally, but like something happened. Like there was a huge storm or
Earthquake.
something, earthquake, and it just sort
It's
of.
the sea
flooded
has
in.
come and gone apparently over thousands and thousands of years, but it was a I think they like filled it and tried to create this sort of Riviera of California around.
Of
I mean, the
Imperial
history is just
Valley.
fascinating. I just think I was like kind of obsessed with it. It's one of the craziest places I've ever been.
Take
No, you're
that,
not going to like chill on the
Scott
beach. You're gonna
Johnson. We
drive
have our
through.
own Salt Lake.
Yeah, we do. And it'll kill a bird.
Yeah.
Right in
Ours
front of
is
you.
Scott
weirder.
Johnson, are you listening?
I bet you are. Are we ready for the next question? That was
I'm
fascinating.
sorry,
though.
yes,
Thanks
I
for
got
telling us about. No, don't
Oh, God.
apologize. that was
it-
awesome.
This is
yeah.
Sarah, I'm
I've
sending
always
you all
been-
the pictures. Like, you got to go there.
Please do. Yes. No.
And you
I've
stay in
always
Palm
wanted
Desert.
to go, just
You know, you're
because
not
I
like-
want to just see something weird. I like.
Oh,
I
it's
like
close enough
weird.
to you could stay in Palm Desert and just like take a
You
day
just stay
trip
in Palm
over.
Desert,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Sip a Mai Tai
One of
and
my
look
aunts
at
lives
it.
down there.
And you
It'll be
can just
great.
sort of slowly meander around the sea itself, and there's like Burley. There's places to go have really good Mexican food. I'll just make you an itinerary
Perfect.
for the weirdest,
Love it.
most apocalyptic vacay of
I'm,
your
Yes.
life.
dude, I'm gonna pad my income by doing tours out there. I
know.
don't know anything about it, but
You are, Roger, going to
Yeah, I'm
pad
gonna
your
get one
income
of
by
those
doing
duck-
tours in the Salton Sea.
I'm gonna get one of those World War II trucks,
This I'd like
amphibious
to see.
trucks, and I'll drive into it and watch it slowly eat through the hull.
I mean, honestly,
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
it's real Mad
Sounds
Max
like
out
a
there.
good idea.
All right.
Yes.
This next,
Next
one's
question.
got a clue in the name. The name is Feldheim. It is a village that is entirely energy self-sufficient and not connected to the national energy grid because of that. And I assume, Roger, it's not because it's got a coal plant that it keeps to itself.
We're talking about
It's
the US,
renewable energy,
the
right?
national
Entirely renewable
US.
energy.
Renewable energy self-sufficient. What country is Feldheim in?
I mean, is Norway like too obvious?
Norway is one answer.
I'm guessing Norway because Feldheim
Oh,
sounds.
well, I asked if it was the
Feldheim
U.S. because it was national Feldheim.
The question is, what country is Feldheim in?
Germany.
Germany, says Len. So we have Norway and Germany.
Well, you said that the clue was in the question, so I'm thinking something Feld, something Heim.
Corey.
Oh, come on.
Not Feldman.
Corey?
Feldheim.
Feldman or Haim.
Oh, Corey
Roger,
Haim.
these came from you. What are you doing? Feldheim. I don't know. Yeah, I'll say Germany.
You are correct, Sarah.
Germany.
The answer is Germany.
Len said that first, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Len also got it right, but Len gets a lot of them right too.
I thought that, a lot
We
of
don't
the
even
times,
really pay attention.
Like a lot. It's so weird.
It's just to fill out the information. It's a tiny village
weird.
about 60 kilometers southwest of Berlin, and it's entirely self-sufficient. They set up these windmills. They set up battery storage. They even have like a little biogas facility because I guess they raise pigs, and it's a way to
What
keep
is the
things
name of the village? Something Heim?
Feldheim.
Feldheim.
Oh, it's called Feldheim. Got
Feldheim,
it.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
I
I thought
thought
you guys were trying to throw me off the scent. Yeah, Feldheim.
Feldheim.
Have not been there.
No, we all need to go to Feldheim now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And live off
Yeah.
the grid. Finally,
it really fits in the post-apocalyptic tour guide.
After
Actually,
after
Right?
we go to the
Salton
Salton
Sea.
Sea,
after you're the Salton Sea, you go to
We
the
just
off-the-grid,
go to Feldheim.
survivalist
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
in Germany. Oh, this is turns
right.
out this is the cottage industry.
go
right here.
to Denmark, visit the oldest wind turbine.
yeah.
Sounds like a
The
party.
final question. The Rance Tidal Power Station is a tidal power station located on the estuary of the Rance River in Brittany, France. So probably called the Rance River in Brittany, France. It is considered to be the world's first large tidal wave energy production plant. What year did the Rance Tidal Power Station commence?
I mean, can we get like a range here?
Yeah, like it's like
There
it
are
could
so
be,
many
I
years
don't
to
know.
work with.
Energy production.
Okay,
I'll
it
say-
is since 1900.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's since 1900. I'll
Nine-
That
call
doesn't
it.
help at all. I know.
I'll call it
1954.
It's since the invention of electricity.
I'll call it 1976.
1976. We have one bid for 1976. Do I hear 1977?
1954.
I'm gonna
1954?
say, yeah, is this Price is Right rules like closest without going
Yeah,
over?
closest, yeah.
I think that wave energy harnessing is a newer technology. I
Okay.
think. So I'm gonna say like 1998.
1998. So we have
Ooh.
98, 76, and 54, right?
Yes, 54.
54. We'll go with the person closest in years, since two of you went over. The answer is 1966.
Wow.
So Sarah got closest with 1976.
Without going over. Dang.
Oh, and I
No,
was
I
under.
went over.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah, but-
interesting. Wow.
I went over, but I was close.
Price is Right rules. Len would win.
I
Right,
would
right.
win.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
In my mind,
I feel good
won.
about myself.
1966. Yeah,
I just wanna go
that's a
around
lot
saying the
longer
Rance
ago
and
than I would have
France.
thought. I was with you, Molly. I would have thought, oh, this was recent.
Yeah.
I actually didn't. I mean, I just shot in the dark. I was like, year I was
Nothing wrong with
born.
that.
Why not?
Yeah.
Lots of
Largest
cool
such
things
power
happened
station in
that
the
year.
world until 45 years later. It took 45 years for somebody to build a bigger one.
And what country was that in?
It was,
points,
according to your
Feldheim.
notes, South Korea.
You are.
Yeah, I thought it would be
We only have 2
cool.
minutes.
Got it. All right.
Do we want to focus on the old Facebook redesign for the last 2 minutes? Like round the horn. Who thinks this will get the old Gen Zs back on Facebook?
Man,
turning
I
it
don't
into
know.
TikTok.
But,
Yeah,
Is that
or
today?
trying to. Yeah.
I mean, I think Facebook is smart for trying this.
I guess. Yeah, none of these are bad.
That's kind
Exactly.
of that's my thought. Facebook Marketplace I have used recently to buy furniture for my house. Just a variety of things that I needed that were very cheap. it's second market. It's somebody selling a dining room table that was in great shape, but they weren't going to sell it for, the top price that I would never buy anyway, kind of thing. So I've had really good success with Marketplace. For that to be part of the kind of front and center for the young'uns, I think is interesting. But they also have other options. I feel like it's sort of like, all right, well, we all used to use Craigslist, which still exists.
Yeah.
But now it's like, Craigslist. Yeah, that's an option still. But, Marketplace, things on Nextdoor, very much more what young people are using, in my experience.
I would be so curious to know Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I buy stuff
Oh, yeah.
on Nextdoor all the time. They have a good shopping thing.
I've been trying to sell stuff on Nextdoor for the past year and a half. Huh.
Maybe it's bad stuff.
Little success.
Go to
much
when in
success.
doubt.
No success.
Switch
No
to
success.
Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace, I get much better results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know about
Nextdoor. Has, I guess I don't know, depends on your neighborhood and,
Yeah,
who's
it's going to
around
vary
you,
from
but,
neighborhood to
but,
neighborhood,
but
how
yeah,
active people are. on it and stuff.
everybody's selling and buying stuff
Yeah.
on Nextdoor.
It's lost cat, lost dog, suspicious character, angry
Free
political
stuff.
Buy
rant,
these chairs.
and then
A
buy
lot of
these chairs.
giveaway,
Yeah,
and then buy
there's,
these
there's your
chairs.
next
No,
one.
I see a
also
lot
what-
of like
yeah.
for free,
Saw a
come and get it on
coyote,
this curb.
buy these chairs.
And
Oh yeah,
uh,
even my mom, who lives not close to me and has a whole other thing. She's like, oh yeah, if I want to sell my microwave on Nextdoor, somebody's here in 5 minutes, and they just take the microwave and
Yeah.
pay me, and it's over. I'm like, great.
And I haven't even listed it.
They just
That's
show up
the
and they're
weirdest part is
"I'd like
they
to buy your
seem to be
microwave,
tapped
please."
into my brain, and that's a little strange.
I just thought about it, and suddenly
But
someone's taking my microwave.
I'm totally with you, Sarah.
but
Though,
it was
it's
ever
like
quick.
it's a real it can't hurt, and it can't hurt to. I mean, Facebook has legendarily had kind of almost irritating success with straight ripoffs like stories and all these other things, and so for them to just basically be like, oh, you want a TikTok-like interface with a For You page, but we're going to call it whatever we call it. Yeah, why not? Is it going to bring people back? I have no idea. But Marketplace is the best thing they have going right now.
It really is. It really
no
is.
question. It's the only reason it's still on my phone.
I'm surprised they didn't call it For You. It's called Explore, but
I'm shocked that they didn't call it For You. I really
kind
am.
of.
That
I was
must
expecting
be-
to go look and say it's For You, but it wasn't. It's Explore.
They probably can't for some reason, or they would have.
I mean, it's never stopped them before. They straight up
Yeah,
called it
right.
stories.
True.
There's nothing
True.
they can't do. And
Nothing
get
they
sued
can't
for
steal.
later. Until tomorrow, actually Monday. Until Monday, everyone. Have a good day.
Have a good day and great
Good
weekend.
day, Internet.
Thank you, patron.
Thanks, patrons. Have a good day.
That's
All right, we are still live to thank the folks and to pick the titles. And we had 2 super chats today. We had C-Spawn with the Go Giants, Go Sarah, and we had Laminar Rainbow did a super sticker. Thank you, Laminar, for that. Nice. Super cool.
Fabulous.
Makes us want to do live more and more and more. You guys are awesome. Also, lots of folks in our Twitch chat, as always. Where's my little tab there? Zoe Briggs Bacon, PC Milesy, Rabbit 41, all with the bits. Let me refresh that, though. We got more people in there. I know we do. BioCow cheered us with 100 bits. Brian M64 with 75. Brian M64 resubscribing for the 37th month. Firelighter 70 for the 20th month. Lion Jim Video using the bits for an on-screen celebration again. Love to see that. Stoic Squirrel back at tier 1 for the 62nd month. Hugh Janus 88 gave us a follow. Jimmy the Brush gave us a shout out after the raid yesterday. Thank you, Jimmy the Brush. Thanks, everybody, for supporting us. We're going to pick a title now. Top vote getters for DTNS are tied with 6 votes apiece. Stealth Dave and Clinton Woodward. Stealth Dave's, don't worry about AI. Meta's going to sort that out. Thank goodness, Stealth Dave. I just feel better already just reading that. Yeah. And Clinton Woodward, automatic severance for the people.
Ouch.
I definitely had automatic for the people kicking around in my head today, too.
I don't know if a lot of people
Clever.
get that reference, but that's a good one.
All your good guys become bad guys. Clinton Woodward suggested that one.
It's a little grim, but
It's, the old
like it.
Batman, The Dark Knight.
The meltdown over AI power consumption. From
Hey-o.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Last minute Mike.
Len's Mike. Oh.
I made it work, man. I'm magic. I'm the magic man.
Can you put a price on CNN? Paid to leave, not paid leave from GPEG84.
Oh, that's funny.
That's good.
Messed up. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah. Hat GPT from Weird Tommy. Roger, what'd you go with?
I went with GPEG 84's data centers or energy hogs.
All right. Thank you, GPEG84. Our top vote getter for GDI, again, a tie with 6, but this time it's Stealth Dave, stealing votes from himself. Thanks for coming to Molly's TED Talk and Apocalypse Tourism with Molly Wood.
That is awesome. Apocalypse Tourism.
Ladies and gentlemen, Apocalypse Tour Guide. You could write a tour like a travel guide. Apocalypse Travel Guide. Yeah.
I kind of want to. I'm telling you. I'm looking up Salton Sea pictures right now.
Facelift book.
Just look up like the area that is abandoned and was really kind of a cool little tourist area and has been turned into like an art place is called Bombay Beach.
Ah, okay.
So if you just
Bombay
like
Beach.
just
Yeah,
search
I
up,
think I've
search
heard
up
about
Bombay
Does it have
Beach
ghost
and
town vibes?
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a whole entire.
Yeah,
the whole thing is a ghost town.
that's great.
And then Bombay
episode
Beach
of
has
Brady Bunch.
a mix of like apocalypse type squatters and artists. It's just so I can't. Even,
BioCow suggested, damn, that's big. DAM.
but
Ah,
Oh, yeah. Got it. Big time. Oh, yeah. These Bombay Beach photos are, I mean, yeah, we should all go.
so
We should do a show from there. Do they have internet?
Probably not.
could probably get Starlink.
Oh, we
like,
could use
free
Yeah.
trial
But
or
it'd be
Starlink.
very
No.
salty.
no, we'll do the not the Verizon. What's the T-Mobile? You know that 5G service? Isn't that what Kevin Pereira uses on occasion?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he uses like a little Wi-Fi extender or cell.
I thought he said
extender
he
that we
uses Starlink.
I don't even know if you get T-Mobile out there at Bombay Beach, frankly. Starlink might be your only choice.
I am leaning towards apocalypse tourism with Mollywood.
Yeah,
I like that.
Apocalypse
Kinda
Tourism
love
with
it.
Mollywood. That's the move. Thank you, Stealth
What other show's
Dave.
gonna have that title?
Appreciate you. That's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody. We're going to raid Loading Ready Run over on Twitch. Thanks, YouTube folks, for hanging out. Always good to see all of y'all. Thank you, Molly Wood.
Thank you. You're the best. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.